Last time on Knights of the Roll Table, our heroes faced off against a 15-foot tall black ooblex at the walls of Khall T'Vott. They split it in two, threw huge boulders at it, and Diedre stabbed an ally? In the end, the battle was won. Now the heroes must decide how to help. And what the heck is going on with all these slimes?
As the battle kind of winds down, some of the Dragonborn around you are cleaning up looking around and like taking down some of the armaments that was there. And several of the other kind of more seasoned fighters or people that were kind of ready to get going are looking around and like they're unsure. As you guys are kind of milling about as like the battle is kind of ending, either like kind of cleaning your swords or kind of putting things away, you start to see that many more Dragonborn start coming out of the entrance to the cave down below into the cave system, and many of them are kind of coming to the wall and kind of all milling about, and that they're like, is it gone? Is it finally over? And several people are kind of talking and figuring it out. And Clan Rock, the warden of the castle, as he introduced himself, kind of gets up on a box and he addresses the kind of growing crowd. And he says, "Hold, friends. Yes, we believe that we have defeated the ooblex that has been plaguing our town. Now, we're going to do a thorough check. We know that they can squeeze through very small spaces. We know that it can split, and we're going to be looking for it. And our friends here, these other knights, are here to help us." And he kind of like looks over and kind of gestures to you guys.
Hi.
Hey.
That's us.
Glad to be here.
I'm here too.
Hello, how's it going?
Yes, the six of these friends have fought against us, have fought alongside us and helped us. And Morthos, another Dragonborn over there, kind of looks over at you guys and goes, "Yeah, and sometimes took it out on me." And
it was truly for your own good.
Maybe the first time, but like later on, I was totally fine. And Clan Rock continues, and he says, I will talk with the Queen to find out what her next orders are. So everybody, there's reason to be hopeful, but let's not get our hopes up." And some of the other people kind of milling about are like, "Well, yeah, we should." Somebody steps up and they say, "Well, this means that the hatching will occur. The comet will be here. And the hatching will occur." And other people are like, "Yeah, oh yes, it's gonna happen." And other people are like, "No, don't get all excited yet. Like this, there's still oozes out there. I've seen them on the horizon. We got to go and look again." So there's kind of lots of different conversations and different groups kind of talking about. And Clan Rock kind of comes back over towards you guys, and Morthos, also the guy that you guys had punched, comes over as well, and as does another Dragonborn woman who you guys noticed before was using a bow and arrow from the top, shooting down at the ooblex from above. And now that you guys kind of outside of the heat of battle are able to kind of get a good look at everybody, and as you guys are kind of sussing up each other, you're looking at Morthos, and let's anybody can roll a perception check for me.
Is he like super hot? Is that what we're...
Branch
Roll
rolled
away.
a 7.
11.
24.
13.
I need to know, is he hot? Is he swole?
24. All right, here's what I'm going to say about Morthos. So right away, Diedre, you pick up on the fact that this guy, he's clearly a warlock. You've encountered other warlocks, and this person, they got the vibe of a warlock. You saw them casting some spells earlier, and you've just like pegged out that, man, this is a warlock through and through. You see that he's like kind of a little bit older, like a little grizzled. He's got like kind of a like a scar kind of on his face, and he's got that kind of grizzled look, but like he's keeping it toy. You know what I mean? He's an older gentleman, but like he's keeping it pretty toy. You know what I mean? You also notice that even though he's wearing kind of a longer cloak, you notice that his left arm is made of metal. It's a prosthetic of some sort. And you can kind of see that in the way that it moves is a little more mechanical, but it's very subtle. And you just kind of pick that up through that. And he and Oriana, the ranger, the other dragonborn who has kind of come up, the three of them kind of they kind of like make a little closed in, almost like a pitcher and a catcher and the manager on the mound, just kind of come in, and they're kind of talking to each other a little bit, and they're kind of going back and forth, and you guys are kind of nearby right there.
Morthos, are they already talking, or how far away am I from them?
You guys are maybe just like kind of just out of earshot. They kind of like pulled away and kind of started talking, a little closer, a little more just kind of to the three of them talking to each other.
And just to make sure I'm not mistaken, Morthos, that's the one that we beat up on.
Yes, it is.
It was a love tap, really. It was just enough to make sure that he was not being
technically a love.
coercive.
I did the love tap, and you did the love stab. So,
well, it had to be. We had to be sure.
Right.
It was just, we tag teamed that.
Hey, everybody likes
Way
a
to
good
go.
love stab every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, this is an all ages podcast, so we'll leave the love stabs out of it. Okay. I would like to, as being so roguish as I am in nature, I would like to leisurely kind of move my way up towards them to see if I can kind of glean whatever it is that they are talking about casually. And if I am detected, then I would make like I was going to approach, and I'd be very breezy about it.
Okay, so you're trying kind of stealthily to like listen
just
in a little
like
bit, get a little
casually
closer, maybe.
maneuver myself just to get just in earshot.
Okay, roll a performance, perhaps.
Oh no!
Kind of a little. Oh, I'm tying my shoe, or I need to get something
16.
over. 16.
Could have been
Okay,
worse.
so
Nice.
you're able to come up.
That was
and,
all luck.
What you're kind of overhearing is it kind of like a very polite argument between people of when people like in an office setting are trying to like respectfully disagree with each other. And so there's a lot of like, well, I understand what you're saying, Oriana, but our duty is to stay here. We need to rebuild this as what the queen has suggested. And you hear Morthos coming in and says, well, I understand that that's your point of view, but it is also very important that we consider that there are dragon allies that we have who could come and help us, particularly if there are more. And Oriana goes, well, I am hearing both of you, but I'm feeling like my voice isn't
It's
being
a lot
heard.
of business acumen. Like,
yeah,
It's respectfully.
It's
Per
very.
my previous
I have
messaging
positive
stone.
intent that you are doing what you think is best, but
However, I agree. I agree that we do
Just
need
to circle back.
Yes. Just to circle back per my last scroll that I sent you.
vis-a-vis what this attack was about.
Exactly.
So once I've decided that this conversation is as boring as it sounds, I will interject and make my presence known and approach them. Darlings, I just wanted to come over and apologize again. Morphos, obviously looking at you, you've certainly earned your honor and your valor in battle, and I'm grateful that going forward we can be allies, and I hope that you will accept my humble apology for any miscommunication or bad blood that may have previously transpired between us. And she'll put out her hand, but it's like the hand like with the palm facing up, like, yes, you may accept my hand. Or sorry, palm facing down. Palm facing down, like, ooh.
Morthos looks at it for a moment, and he looks over at his allies there, and he takes it and kind of grabs it like this and just gives it a little shake up and down very slowly and says, it's battle. It happens.
Oh, thank you. I couldn't
was
help
Diedre, was it?
Yes, darling. Diedre Selenka.
Selenka. I see. You must come from strong lineage then to be such a skilled fighter.
Oh, well, my family is somewhat known in parts, and I have had some very astute tutors. But as I'm sure we're all privy, experience is ultimately the best teacher. I dare say you appear to have had some experience. Yes.
Oh, yes, I suppose I have had some experience throughout my long life, Miss Selenka.
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 Yes. Yes. Well, yes. And one is only as strong as one's allies, as it were, and of course my team, how do you feel about allies? Now that we are allies.
What is
I'm
happening?
being really subtle, you guys.
He says, well, I certainly am always looking for new allies. And us collectively are also looking for collectively allies.
But allyship does come with its cost, does it not?
Sometimes the cost is worth the allyship that you get along the way.
The rest of us watching this happening are like, should we stop this? What's happening over there?
Are they going to mate?
I don't know.
No, I think what's happening is there's some sort of like, see, my grandpappy and my grandma used to do this all the time. They would just look at each other real hard for like hours, and they'd start talking about like mundane kind of stuff, like beets and roots and mostly like agriculture. But I mean, there was some real chemistry going on underneath all of that boring talk. This is some kind of she's playing a mind game.
All right.
Yes, go on.
Miss Selenka, perhaps later on we could solidify our allyship over a drink.
Oh, well, yes, perhaps we could. Of course, it's important to diversify one's allies. But yes, let's do that. That sounds nice.
And I agree that experience is the best guide. And he looks back to Clanrock and Oriana and says, yes, perhaps the experience of your elders should help guide the actions of the many. And Clanrock and Oriana also look at each other and just kind of give a shake and say, well, Clanrock says, well, I suppose I shall just seek consult. But in the meantime, we can begin rebuilding, and we can start that right now. And he kind of looks over to the other five of you, including Cookie, and says, we have been under siege for such a long time. Many of our facilities here are degraded, and we've lost so many knowledgeable people to help rebuild and get our stronghold back up to standard. We don't have a forge. We don't have a reliquary. We don't have any of the typical things we would need to run a stronghold like this. And I'm wondering if your guys' collective knowledge could be of use to us.
Well, we'll help where we can. Biscuit knows things about magic. I know things about mostly punching and hiding. I don't know if that's super helpful. We're more defenders than builders, but whatever we can add. Brance knows all about nature.
I'm very good at tipping.
I mean,
Morthos.
I might be able to bring somebody. I got some people back in HQ that might be able to help out, but I'd have to spend a teleport spell and then bring them back. So long term we could definitely get some resources. I don't know about immediate. I don't have anything other than just my mending spell, which is pretty like I could fix some broken boards and doorknobs and
Well,
keyholes.
what I hope
Chair
that you can
legs.
bring is leadership. You see, we have lost many of our great leaders in this siege, and over time, I
Right.
mean, we just need guidance, and we just need help.
I can also cast guidance.
That's very useful.
Do you not have a queen? Is that not your leader?
Well, yes. She is still very much in mourning. Hopefully, the news of this defeat and the end of the siege will raise her spirits. That's certainly something that I hope could happen.
Yeah, maybe if she feels up to it, we could meet her. Like being the helpers that we are, like it'd be nice to kind of get a little bit more information from her to provide such leadership.
Yeah, we
Oriana
wouldn't
kinda,
want to, take a leadership position without the blessing of the rightful ruler. So it seems only right.
Oriana kind of steps up and says, "Well, I think we have to make sure that we follow exactly her orders. And if you just took the initiative on your own, we wouldn't be disobeying or obeying any orders by just assisting you guys to kind of do this work. You kind of know what I'm trying to say."
I
And
understand.
Clan Rock says, "Now look, I will talk to the queen, and I will get direction on what she wants to do. That is for sure. But we really haven't even been able to be outside like this for longer than a few minutes, really, and we need to assess the city, and we need to assess what we can do to bring our people back up from underground, and bring them out from the countryside, and restart our entire city here." And this is what I'd like to do is a new feature that's part of the new Dungeon Master's Guide, which is called Making a Bastion. And instead of you guys finding a bastion and it being an alternate thing that's kind of out that you guys would manage, the new Dungeons Master's Guide puts out rules for operating like a keep or what they're calling a bastion, that over time you will make decisions on what you want to build, what you want the people in that to focus on, and that will allow you to have certain outcomes and allow to kind of build it out. So what I'd like to do as kind of a running thing through our campaign as we continue here is you will make decisions on how to rebuild the city of Khall T'Vott and to try and get it back to an operable state. So
Send the
if you-
children into the mines. Let's go.
Okay, awesome, great. I need to do some reworking for our evil campaign.
Just
That's not
capitalism,
evil,
Jeff.
that's
You know
just-
the drill.
Oh boy,
It's
oh,
not
no.
evil. The children crave the mines.
They love
Yeah,
it. Their small hands just
that's
get
how
the
they learn.
emeralds. Yeah, exactly.
They call it a mine. A mine.
Anyway,
So many unemployed children around here. We need to help them out.
we do need to help them out. It's where all economies
It's a
start,
hard
is exploitation.
knock life for us.
So my intention here is that we have 14 days until the comet arrives, which is kind of the big event that everybody in the town is kind of looking towards.
So
And-
comment. Yep.
Yes. And the goal is depending on, I'm going to kind of modify the rules a little bit to kind of play a different game. So as we go, I will give you guys the opportunity to discuss what you want to do or what you want to tell the workers to do to build up. So just to begin, you have orders like building, repairing, or rebuilding something, or reinforcing something, telling a certain area. It kind of did turn into Farmville all of a sudden.
Heck yeah.
Whether you want to craft something, whether you want to recruit more people, which will give you more points to do more stuff, or if you want to do research, which will allow you to have boons. And those are special things which will come into play later.
Yeah.
As this kind of is being discussed to you, and kind of you're getting a sense of like what your duty is going to be. Oriana comes to you guys all and kind of interrupts and goes, "Guys, you got to come up here. You got to take a look at this. We got to get to the top of the tower. You need to see this. This is important." And Clanrock says, I'm not going to listen to this. There's nothing. We have to get focused on this. And finally, she says, "Okay, guys, everybody, you all have to come up." And so finally gets Clanrock. "Okay, I'll go and see. We new allies. Will you join us?"
Sure. Top of the tower.
Great.
Yeah.
So you guys actually, there on the tower, there's kind of an outside, it's kind of a tall, maybe like a 4 or 5 story tall tower, like a castle tower. And there is a spiral staircase that goes along the outside of it. So as you're going up the tower, you're actually going out the outside. As you guys are going up, go ahead and roll a perception check.
Branch got a 22.
24. Natural 20 for Igneous.
Ooh.
19.
Wow.
11 and 18 for Cookie.
23.
23. Okay, so basically everybody, as you guys are kind of ascending, you hear this, you're kind of going around and you're on the outside of this tower. There are wooden doors and like wooden shutters of windows and not portholes. What do you call the thing you shoot arrows through?
Portcullis. No, that's not it either.
Portcullis. Yeah, or the
No, portcullis is like a drug.
the arrow hole.
Murder
the arrow
holes?
hole. Yeah, the murder holes.
Trebuchet.
Nope,
No.
that's not it.
Yes.
Parapet.
Anyway,
Parapet.
Castle words.
the-
Arrow slit.
No. Uh-uh.
okay, all the windows are kind of boarded up. But as you kind of get up to near the, not at
It's
the
an arrow
top, but
slit.
kind of near, don't Google that. As you go,
No, it is. That's the actual term.
I don't
did
like it,
Google
and
it.
I won't respond to it. Okay, it's not canon, not in this world. All
Let's
right,
Oh, it
just
could
call
be
it the A slit, guys.
stop.
An
Stop it.
embrasure is also a valid word. Embrasure.
I don't like that either. Okay, the other windows that we have, going up, you all kind of hear, you hear this like gentle kind of like sobbing, like crying, and you're kind of all looking at each other, and Oriana, or excuse me, Clan Rock, as he's kind of the second one behind Oriana, kind of looks back at you guys and kind of like kind of gives you like a like that's kind of what I'm dealing with type of look as you guys kind of keep ascending. You guys get to the top, and this very big, this wide tower gives a big wide view. And at the very top, you see that there is, there's a flagpole. There is a little like trebuchet, little catapult thing that's up there. There's other like provisions and barrels, but you also see that there is a telescope, and Oriana, the Dragonborn Ranger, she comes up and she looks through it and she says, "See, look out there. I told you there's more of them, and they're amassing. They're way up in the north. There's, I mean, just look." And Clanrock looks through it, and he goes, "You just, oh my God, that can't be." And he kind of like steps away and kind of is in a deep thought. And Oriana says, look through, you guys. This is what the problem. This is what's happening.
Hey,
And
Yenni, come here.
Boost.
Yes, I'm gonna step up onto Yenni's shoulder so I can look.
Oh, I wanted to go first.
Hey, you can go next.
So you guys each look across, in which Khall T'Vott is kind of near the center south part. There are looking up, you can see kind of a main road that goes through kind of over this ridge, this little ridge of mountains, and even beyond that, kind of up to the north and to the west, in the kind of top left portion of the map I had sent before. You guys see like there is this, what you first see is like this storm. It's kind of like a thunderstorm, like thunderhead, dark clouds, and like below it this like shadowy darkness that's underneath it,
like
and
around Killraven. I'm looking at your old map.
On the on the other side. So
wait,
on the
you said northwest, huh?
I did.
Okay,
so
then over by
in the ruins of
Ordinir.
Khall Ordinir, exactly, at the end of the Forgotten Road, there's like this big storm, and the distance you're looking at looks like it's maybe 100 miles. If you guys have been out to like Borrego and looked out at like the Salton Sea, like that's kind of how far it looks like. Not immediate, but like it's out there. Maybe that's not 100 miles. I have no idea what distance is. But it's about that far. Enough that it would take many days to travel on foot. And below, even though it's so far away, you can kind of see this like undulating, reflective mass that has a very similar kind of sheen and texture as the ooblex you guys were fighting over the edge there. And by the looks of it, I mean, it's as wide as some cities and towns that you guys have seen. And kind of coming from that and out from there, these other bigger little blobs or little things are kind of also up in the mountains and also kind of coming down that Forgotten Road. So it's just this this kind of like doom looking black hole of mess happening in the northwest.
So like a giant storm, and then
Yes.
underneath it, just slimes, ooblex everywhere.
As far as you can tell, of trying to see something very, far away like this, and it's not a picture perfect telescope. It's pretty rustic, but it's you're looking at it, and it's a very large mass, whatever it is. But it
It's
does
just
appear
like a
to be
big
that
dark
same.
void.
It's kind of, yeah, and it looks kind of like this weird shimmery sheen, kind of like some oil, like where it's kind of extra reflective, like a wet thing instead of like a dry thing. So that's kind of what you're seeing out there. Even as lightning bolt kind of comes down every once in a while and like makes a hit, you can just kind of see this like glint of this reflectiveness off of this surface. And Oriana says, "Yeah."
From what we can tell, I know it's far away, but do the clouds look natural? Like it's just a storm that happens to be there, or does it look like they are eerily the same size, or are they all kind of like, is it like a unusual cloud formation, or is it?
Roll a knowledge nature.
Oh, okay. Hold on there. Let me check.
On glance, though, it does appear like specifically over that area there is a dark storm. So this will kind of suss out whether you think it's
All
kind
right.
of natural. Or not.
That's gonna be a 9.
Yeah, I mean, weather's weird. It could just kind of be, you're not.
Man, that's a
100%
humdinger of a
sure.
cloud. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's about the same size as what's underneath it. Can't understand why, but
I mean,
there
maybe
you
it's
go.
a little bigger. Yeah, like as you're actually kind of looking at it, yeah, there's like more clouds. It's not like it's Charlie Brown with the water over his head, like
Right.
pouring. It's not that obvious, but whether it's um, just a coincidence or not, like it's pretty hard to tell. You're pretty far away, and it does look like a big system.
Well, hey guys, I might, if we need to go over there, I know it seems like a couple days journey, but or maybe a day's journey or something like that. But I do have a teleport spell. I now that I've seen it, I could get us there lickety split if we need to. But when we're ready.
Let me take a peek. Yeah, let me just have a peek in there. And Igneous looks and is like, okay, yeah, absolute deepest, darkest depths of my nightmare. No thanks. Why would we want to go to that?
Because we're heroes. That's what we do.
Oriana says, we need to head north. We need to take a look. We need to understand our enemy. We need to do reconnaissance. How are we going to, if we're going to put up any sort of defense on this, we need to send people to investigate it. We need to take a look. We need to find some sort of way to combat these things. If we're going to put up any sort of defense, otherwise they're just going to lay siege to us again. And
That's
Clan
right.
Rock says,
I agree. Hey, Oriana, is there, besides those ruins that you told us about up there, is there any other like other fortress or like a summer home or something like that just in case we can kind of hide out in, or maybe like use as a refuge? Hidden caves.
She says the all the area around here is there's plenty of caves in the mountains and places to hide. Up the Forgotten Road that far, I mean, barely anybody goes that way. There could be old buildings and structures, but
I'm
it's
surprised
pretty
anybody
barren out
remembers
there.
that, because it's probably forgotten.
Yes, that's why it is named that.
Jeff, this is the top of the Queen's Tower that we're at?
Correct, yes.
So do we have a sense? We heard her, presumably
Yes.
weeping. Was there a doorway or way in?
There was,
that
yes,
chamber?
off of the staircase, the spiral staircase around the outside. There was a doorway entry. Yes.
Was it dark in there?
All of the windows were kind of shut up, so you couldn't. It's still kind of daylight, so it's like you couldn't really tell if there was a light on inside because it's like daytime, So it was hard to. You couldn't tell.
So I'd like to, while kind of people are paying attention to other stuff, go Shadow Monk and sneak my way in there, whether it's shadow stepping or I can now turn invisible when I shadow step. So I don't necessarily want to disrupt. I just want to get as far in to take a peek to kind of confirm the story.
So are you able to go through any sort of opening, or you'd have to open the door? Or can you do if it's in shadow, you can appear in any shadow?
I can step from one shadow into another in dim light or darkness as a bonus action.
I think you have to
teleport up to 60 feet to an occupied space I can see. Yeah, I'd have to see where I was going.
Okay. Let's say you can get down there, and it's not like it's watertight. You could roll an investigation and see if you could find a little hole or maybe a part where you can kind of look in so that you can see inside. Because if you could see it, you can get in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you can roll an investigation, see if you can find a way to look inside.
Alrighty. I doubt my investigation is good. It's -1. I got a 12.
Okay. So you come up to the door. The door is pretty well shut. It's pretty sturdy. It does kind of appear to be, locked. It's not, swinging open, and it seems pretty solid. You kind of push on it or like put your hands on it. It's not gently opening or anything like that. You go over to some of the other windows that are around there, and you kind of look in, and you can kind of see in some of the opening, there's kind of like shutters that are kind of closed. Some of them are kind of a little bit open where you could kind of maybe see in a little bit. So if you wanted to attempt to come into the shadow step that way, you could do. You think you might be able to?
I would. And I've learned to become one with the shadows, so in an area of dim light or darkness, I can use my action to become invisible.
Okay.
Until I make an attack, cast a spell, or in an area of bright light. So I'll first turn invisible, and then shadow step into wherever I can get to in that room and just take stock of things.
Okay. So you look through, you become invisible, you become one with the shadow, and you're able to flit yourself from one area of the shadow to another. And as soon as you kind of step into the shadow, you see that you are indeed in a very large round room, and it is lit only by a couple of candles that are on a desk on the opposite side of the room. So you even it's very dim and dark inside. You see that at one point it was very opulently furnished. There's a very large bed with 4 posts and this fine tapestry that goes around it. There's paintings that would have been hung on the wall. There's a big table in there that has these big carved chairs out of what looks like with pieces of like jade and emerald inside of the actual wood. You see, these cabinets and bureaus that are just finely would have been finely carved and really well made. It looks like it was a spot for royalty at one point. Now it's kind of been unkempt. It doesn't. It looks maybe a little dusty. The clothing is just kind of piled in areas. The drawers are just kind of open and open and closed willy nilly. The desk is strewn with scrolls of parchment. Everything just kind of seems like nobody's been in here to clean up for a little bit. And you see a woman, you see a form of a dragonborn woman who's kind of kneeling at the side of her bed and kind of over the side of it. And she kind of has her arms folded over it and has her head down and is kind of softly just kind of like mumbling and talking to herself and kind of catching her breath for a little bit there. And so that is the environment that you are in.
All right. It's real sad in there. So I think most importantly, he has no particular skill for this, but wanting to kind of like watch her and assess if this is just like kind of normal. It's obviously extreme despair, but is it like, could it be like magically influenced, or could she be like infected in some way by what she fought, or does it, just appear to be natural, terrible mourning?
Roll an insight and give yourself an additional 5 points on top of that, since you're spending some time in here, assuming you want to spend a little bit of time.
Yeah, watching. For sure. Yeah. So that'll give me to 16.
16. So you, as you're kind of watching, you see that it kind of comes in. She kind of has like these little fits where she kind of weeps for a little bit and then comes back up and sits quietly for a little while. And then after a little bit, kind of stands up and kind of huffs and kind of slams like her hands down on a bureau and kind of stomps around a little bit and kind of mutters to herself a little bit and then ends up crying again and then collapsing back down on the bed a little bit. And kind of in that cycle, as you're kind of looking at it, it really seems like this person is very distraught. And in fact, maybe even more so than you have seen anybody really be very distraught over someone. And maybe that's the thing that is very unusual to you more than anything, is just like how like visceral and intense this seems to be. So whether or not there doesn't seem to be any obvious magical inclination to it or any sort of trick, or it's not a recording, or it doesn't seem like faked or anything, but it does seem quite strongly felt, is what you suss after several minutes of kind of watching.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, after several minutes of creeping on the queen, I will go ahead and shadow step out of there and retrace my steps and try to just like rejoin the group so nobody knows I left.
As you come up the stairs, as soon as you kind of pop up where your head kind of comes up, Morthos turns his head and he looks at you and he says, "Hey, where were you at?"
Sorry, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, well, just down the stairs there. Just having a look around. Keeping a watch, you know.
Roll the deception.
Hey, I'm okay at that. Damn it! I rolled a 1. So that's a 7.
Morthos, he walks up to you and he kind of gets like right into that point where he's like one step too far into your personal space. He kind of looks up and down you real quick and he says, "We don't like secrets around here. Secrets are what cause fatalities."
You know, Morthos, I've only known you for a little while, and I've come to truly respect the way that you asked my friend out on a date while your thigh is openly bleeding from the stab wound that she inflicted. You got guts, and I appreciate that. So I'm gonna be straight with you. I think you're a guy I can trust. I went over and I was listening to your queen there because it seems we thought it was a little bit suspicious on what was going on, and thought it was important to confirm for ourselves. But she, I mean, I've never experienced a level of despair that I just experienced just from listening to your queen for just a moment. It's shaken me.
As you got the attention of kind of everybody up there, and after you were kind of saying you were listening in, Morthos turned away from you and he walked right up to Clan Rock, and he gets real close to him and he says, "You trust these people? You trust these outsiders? We're going to listen to what they have to say. They're going to be our saviors." And he says this in front of, not quiet enough that he's trying to hide from any of you guys. They're sneaking around. They don't believe what we're trying to say. They're suspicious. We need to get them out of here. We don't need their help. And Clan Rock says,
"Igneous, way to blow it."
And I'm rescinding all of my dates and offers for drinks to anyone
It
in
was
this
just
group.
a drink. Nobody said it was a date.
He said it was a date.
It did sound like a date. We were listening.
To Igneous. He says it was a date. He says, it's beside the point.
I mean, you were going for a drink. What else? How else would I interpret that?
Igneous, you and I have drinks all the time.
All right. Well,
yeah, I think we're getting off topic.
We are off topic. And Morthos says, "I don't trust them. We can't trust them, Clan Rock." And Clan Rock kind of says, "What do you want me to do? We have nothing. We have nothing left. Show me an alternative." And Morthos says, "We need to find a dragon. They're out there. We just need to convince them to come back."
Excuse me, what does that mean?
Can we help find a dragon? That branch would like to see a dragon.
It does sound very useful.
It also sounds incredibly dangerous.
Hello, listeners of the Rolled Table. This is Jeff, your DM for Season 7. Wow. Thank you to everyone who came out to see our live show at Comic-Con this month. We were absolutely honored to be a part of it, and we had a really great time. If you haven't heard our live show from the Comic-Con Museum, check out last week's episode. Our show from Comic-Con will be dropping next week, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks to everyone at Comic-Con, the San Diego Central Library, and the Comic-Con Museum. The best way to support us is to leave that rating and review on whatever podcast service you are listening to right now. In fact, I have a review to read right here. It's from New Adventurer 11. They say, I like this show because it's full of jokes, and it's D&D, and I just love Dungeons & Dragons. There's characters in there that are goofy and funny, and it just makes me laugh. I recommend the show for kids like me that love D&D. On a scale of 1 to 10, I rate it a 1,000. P.S. Coach is my favorite character. I like when he hypes himself up. Coach. Another favorite character of mine is Gravely, but honestly, I like all of them. Thank you for that great review, New Adventurer 11. And I wish you could put 1,000 stars on the rating. We appreciate that. Visit our Instagram at Rolled Table and join us on our Discord server where you can have discussions with us about the show and other fans. Search for Knights of the Rolled Table on Discord or check out the show notes. Some of the music in this episode is created by Weston Gardner, known as Arcane Anthems on his Patreon, and is also Coach. So check that out. All of the art for our characters and maps are illustrated by our very own Chris Daly, who also has a Patreon called Dungeon Heads. If you were at the Comic-Con show or either show, you saw some really great one-of-a-kind art that'll be dropping on our Discord soon, so you can check that out. And support him over there on his Patreon, Dungeon Heads. And Chris also does a podcast called Comic Book Keeper, so make sure you put that in the subscribe list. If you have any feedback or questions or want to put an ad on the show, contact us, knightsoftherolltable@gmail.com. We'd also love to bring Knights of the Rolled Table on the road to more places and more cons. If you are a venue or a comic book shop who can host a show, we'd love to talk. knightsoftherolltable@gmail.com. We know we are not the only D&D actual play podcast out there, and we saw a lot of great podcasts and a lot of great people out at Comic-Con this month. So we truly, honestly thank you for listening to ours and giving us that chance. That's all for our announcement. Now, go out and make life an adventure. Clan Rock says, well, Ethan hasn't been seen in a long time. We don't even know if he's out there anymore. We can't rely on them to come back and save that. That's not what happens here. And they kind of go back and forth talking about this, and they're kind of arguing to each other. And Oriana kind of comes over to you guys and says, you guys saw the emerald clutch, right? You saw the eggs. Like, that's kind of what we do. We raise these dragons.
Yeah, we saw a couple of them. So those are going to be baby dragons, but you're saying there's what he's saying, Porthos is saying there's an adult dragon, like a big old dragon.
We have been raising dragons here for 135 years.
So there might be a lot of dragons.
There's a dozen of them that we've raised that occasionally come back to us and visit with us, or that we've seen, but they're their own beasts. We don't control them or anything like that. And Morthos is convinced that in times of need that they'll come back and help us. But
maybe we could go talk to them and give them a little bit welcome basket and be like, hey, remember how y'all got raised so nice, and maybe you should come back and help out and breathe some fire or breathe some whatever on these evil things that are trying to invade your homeland. I mean, it's possible.
Can Branch roll a nature check to see if it's like normal that the dragons do not raise their own selves?
roll a nature.
23.
23. So what you know about dragons is that typically, yes, a mother dragon will lay a clutch of eggs, see them to hatching, and then will usually they'll kind of be fledgling for a little while until they learn to fly, and then once they're able to fly, they kind of leave the nest, kind of like birds, and um, live their lives independently after that. One thing that you did notice as you went down and looked at the eggs is that, and just kind of putting together some of the different um, kind of iconography and the different like theming that you've been seeing, you know that there are types of dragons that are extremely rare, and some of them are the gem colored dragons, and the emerald colored dragons in particular are in this world kind of extremely rare. They're not seen very often, and they you think that based on the complexion of the dragonborn that are here and the color of the eggs that you saw down there, that
And then
these
the fact that you
dragon
called them Emerald Clutch.
exactly, you think that these are probably emerald dragons, which there is not a lot of like lore or history on, and so it could be that it's that they're a sort of subspecies or a variant of dragon that maybe has some other rituals or adaptations.
Branch is going to ask. Sorry if this is rude. Branch was raised in a forest, so, you know. But I thought that dragons like to raise their babies themselves. Why are you all making the eggs grow?
Morthos kind of he kind of like puts his hands in his head, like just kind of like has that thing of like, we gotta do this, we gotta do this whole thing, and Clan Rock says, um, well, we have a whole history that's very long, and we can certainly share. And Oriana says, our dragons are different. Our dragons are special. All of the eggs we have were laid by one emerald dragon 135 years ago, and there were 14 of the eggs. And over the years, every time the comet comes, one of the eggs hatches. And the dragon, we raised the dragon. Alzi Olu is no longer here. She is the mother dragon to all of the dragons that we've raised. And we care for the eggs. We raise them while they're younglings and hatchlings, and then when they're of age, they leave. Some of them have come back to us, and in our history, some of them have fought alongside us. Some have died in battle. Some eggs have not hatched. There's it's a varied history. If we could go to the catacombs and we can look up the history of all of our dragons, all the way back 135 years. But I'm not sure what dragons are like other parts of the world.
Branch
but-
looks totally fascinated during all this, by the way. That is wow. Can you like signal to the dragons to be like, please come home, your stepmama misses you?
No.
That is sad.
Do you guys communicate with dragons?
Branch has
Do they,
never
like,
met a dragon.
Because like our dragons, they don't like talk to us or anything. We can kind of, our dragon
Children, you know.
keepers. Sure. I mean,
Grant's
our dragon
recently fought a dragon. It was dead though.
Yeah, I don't count
What?
that.
A dead dragon? Oriana starts asking back a whole bunch of questions about like dragons and like, wait, you have other colored dragons? There's
Yes,
like
there are red dragons, and there are like copper dragons, and green is kind of like emerald. But Branch will just like ramble. It's gonna like info dump at them.
okay, well, she gets all that and she goes, wow, that's so different. I mean, we just know the eggs that we have, and we care for them, and then they leave.
It is very kind and selfless of you all.
Well, it is our mission. It is our God-given mission to do this.
It sounds like you are trying to find one of these dragons to help. Any idea where one might be?
There's rumors that Atheon the Two-Tailed is has been seen to the west. And look, we can listen to the fairy tales, we can listen to what farmers say, and Morthos seems to think that he's returned in order to help us. He thinks that it's just like Scythus the Martyr, that he's going to
Yeah.
come back and fight with us in battle and then help us. But I that's not a thing that happens.
Well, with due respect, that storm of ooblex mess out there, that's not really a thing that happens either. So anything could be on the table, right? Right, Morthos?
Morthos
Sounds like you got some good ideas.
Yeah, we've seen a whole mess of things that shouldn't happen but does. That's kind of our line of work.
Morthos kind of says, okay, they're talking some sense. I think, yeah, he kind of looks at Clanrock, says, look, this is what I'm trying to say. If we can get Athan back to us, if he's really out there, maybe he'll come. Maybe he'll fight alongside us. We know their powers. We know they're powerful. Maybe he'll do that. And Clanrock kind of says the Dragon Keepers. They don't. That's not if it is willed, it will happen. But we can't make them. That's not our role. That's not our job. And they kind of squabble back and forth.
There's dragon keepers?
Yeah, the dragon keepers who kind of raise and tend to it. It's a special and prestigious role in our community.
Oh my goodness, a dragon keeper sounds like the most interesting job.
Oriana says, "Yeah, oh yeah, you should meet. There's some great dragon keepers that we have. Do you want to meet some of our youngling dragons?"
Yes.
Well, I mean, we can go in. Oriana's like, we can go in.
Yeah, sure.
Go and meet them. They're down in the caves. That's where they're being kept.
Oh,
That'd be swell.
wow. Yes, please.
I used to raise chickens, goats.
Oh, interesting. Oriana says, "Oh, that's
They're kind of like
interesting."
dragons, I know there are some people that say that that modern chickens are actually derived from ancient dragons.
Oh, is that so? I haven't heard that.
No, I'm just kidding. That's
Oh.
that's a bunch of hogwash. There's no way that's true.
Oh, good. Branch would have felt bad for eating chickens.
All right. So you guys make your way down the tower. Oriana kind of takes you down the tower again. You kind of go down to the into the caves underground. You go past to the area where you had looked in and you've seen the big chamber that had the these emerald eggs inside of it. And you guys go in, and some of these other dragonborn who are wearing these very very clean white and green kind of cloaks, kind of vestments. This almost looks like very like religious type of garb, that like what you see clerics might wear or priests might wear. They're kind of over by the eggs. They're kind of like wiping them down. They're like clearing out stuff. They're moving in water and different things, and like they're very like busy kind of tending to these eggs there. And they see Oriana. They go, "Oh, Sister Oriana, blessings to you." And Oriana goes, "Yes, blessings to you." And she says, "Our guests wanted to see the eggs." And you guys see that there's 3 eggs that are kind of in this big, looks like it's been kind of etched out of a big piece of stone and kind of like made almost like a big, like at one point, maybe it was a fountain or something. But it has all of this soft, very regal, like plush linen inside of it, with all of this fine like tapestry, finely made. Like it's not twigs and sticks and stuff that like of a normal bird's nest. It's like very plush and very cushy inside of here. There's 3 eggs that are inside of there, and they go, yes, welcome, brothers and sisters, and we have the 3 eggs that are remaining. Azos, he's due to hatch any day now. Airy, which will hatch in the next coming, perhaps, and then Xanather, our last hatchling. We eagerly await their arrival. Maybe we'll be blessed again with a triple hatchling, as we have in the past. And they go, oh yes, maybe, oh yes, that would be really wonderful. And they kind of, you guys are kind of looking at these eggs, and like one looks really splendid and very beautiful, and maybe even you don't know how or why, but like maybe it just kind of seems like it's a little more full. Maybe you kind of see like a little movement or something in it. There's another one
Did that one
that's
move?
oh yes, sometimes Azos will move. We know that he's ready to hatch any time now, when the comet comes. And they kind of look at and they say, but this egg here, and you see that while the other 2 are very brilliant green, one of them is kind of, maybe looks like a little shrunken. If you've ever seen like a chicken egg that kind of has like a wobbly kind of a wrinkly kind of surface, this one kind of has that, and it looks very pale green. And one of the other tendons is kind of like rubbing warm water on it, and like they're trying to kind of nurse it back to health. And they say, yes, Aries egg has been sick for some little while. We're working on bringing them back to health, and hopefully they will last, and they will come to us in time. And
What happened to it?
we don't know. It just started kind of looking sickly. Sometimes this can happen when if it's very cold outside, if it's not tended to properly, if it's not rotated, if there aren't enough blessings bestowed on it a day, if the vestments aren't changed out. We've seen it sometimes, and we know we can fix it. We know that Ari will be okay. At that moment, as you guys are kind of like quietly looking, you hear this kind of in another part of a chamber behind you. You hear this very loud kind of sound, and you see this. It looks like a big eagle size thing, and it flutters out, and it's kind of going around, and it's kind of moving in this like jilted stuttering kind of way, and you see this little green wormling dragon, just a little tiny guy, looks like a baby. Its head and its arms are like way too big, and its wings are like way super small, and it's kind of like like working really hard, like pushing very hard to kind of get its body to stay up, and eventually comes down, and it kind of crashes over on the side of this big chamber and kind of like rolls over a couple times. It actually knocks into kind of this stand that has a bunch of like vials and stuff on it, and kind of like knocks it all over in this comedic fashion. And around it, the other attendants there kind of all just like kind of bow and like, oh yes, and slowly like calmly like pick up everything that was spilled, and it's very like, oh yes, of course, child. Like they kind of like, yeah, they, and what you kind of notice, Branch, is that they're not, even though they kind of had this like cluttering like fall, they don't try and like help them up or even like touch them or really like interact with them in any way, which you kind of think is a bit unusual. And it kind of goes blah, blah, and it kind of does this little like cough, and you kind of see this like glittery green not really fire, but kind of like sparky glitter kind of come out of its mouth, and it kind of flies up and goes back the other way. And they say, ah, yes, that is Emrith, our 11th dragon, Emrith the Hardened. and they're just learned to fly, so they're still figuring things out. And
They
we're
were
just
beautiful.
I mean, aren't we
certainly
all,
are.
right?
Truly majestic.
Can
Yes.
can can Branch say hi to the Emerith?
Um,
I am Branch.
yes. Usually, we don't talk to them. We don't engage. We don't engage with them in that way.
Oh,
They
why not?
Well, you could. Why would they listen to you?
They might not, but maybe they do. If no one talked to me, I would be sad. Although if too many people talk to me, I would also be sad. So,
I'm just wondering, do any of the dragons eventually do talk? You know, we have dragons in our realm that actually like speak and, you know, have full on conversations and sometimes do like nice things or evil things or whatever. But do your dragons actually develop, you know, vocal ability, or do they just go ah?
Oh, they can speak a language to themselves that we frankly don't understand. Occasionally, they will give us wisdom, and they will speak to us. But I mean, it's like you know, it'd be like us trying to have a conversation with ants, right? I mean, what would they
oh,
have to? What would we have to
Branch had
say
a
to them?
conversation with ants once. They are very smart, but they talk at the same time all together, and it's like boom, loud voice.
Oh, okay. You're an interesting one.
He's like a druid. He's very into nature and animals and stuff like that. You got to understand.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's really very, very interesting.
But dragons are not like animals. Like they are very smart and they are amazing.
Yes, we agree. They certainly are.
Igneous has tongue of the sun and moon, which means he can understand any language.
Ooh.
And people who speak other languages can understand me, but he's a little bit cagey, having been caught before, to like step on any cultural toes. So he's like thinking like, I mean, I could probably chat with him, but maybe I'll let Branch take this bullet and see where this goes.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well, I'll say something just from a D&D language. So, Draconic is a language, but like dragon as a beast speak is not a language. It's like you have to have like speak with animals or something like that. So,
Yeah. Hey, Biscuit. What
yeah.
about your little chatty mount, huh? Do you think he could talk to the other
Oh
dragons?
yeah. I mean, I do have a two-headed dragon mount that might be able to speak to him. I mean, I could always ask.
They say, "Oh yes, we saw your flying lizard out there. We're tending to them well in the stables."
If it would not be offensive or bad, Branch could try to talk to Emerith and see if wisdom can happen.
I suppose you could try if you'd like to. They go, "Oh well, let's." They kind of take you in, and you kind of say, "Okay, well, let's go back," and you kind of go back into another layer, not a layer, but like a new kind of cave area that kind of has more plush surround. It's kind of almost like filled with like furniture. Like there's like a carved like big like bed, like a giant dog bed almost, with like big cushions on it. That's all kind of like crumpled and kind of messed up. There's like a big, like a fancy chalice, like trough that like is bejeweled, that has like a big thing of water in it. You see that kind of laid out on like different big platters are like these cuts of like meat and different like pieces, like bread and like fruits and vegetables that are kind of like laid out like a meal, but it's just kind of down on the floor. And you get this sense of like they are meeting this thing where it is, but they're really treating it like royalty in a way that is like on a level that you haven't really seen before. And Emerith is in there and is kind of like it's kind of like flying around, it's kind of moving its wings around, it's kind of making all these like strange sounds.
Yeah. Okay. So now I know this, but Branch would not. That animal handling doesn't, or the animal speak with animals does not do anything with dragons because dragons aren't beasts.
Okay.
Branch would know that.
Branch would know that dragons aren't beasts. I don't know if he would know that his speak with animals spell wouldn't do anything there.
Okay.
Not
Well,
encountered.
you can cast away if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, I think it'd probably just like like in regular Branch talk, common, I guess. Hello, Emerith. I am a branch from the smallest tree in the forest. How are you? And see what he does, and then what they do, and then I would cast that on myself.
He kind of like stomps around a little bit and like clearly like either didn't hear you or does not, just had no reaction. It's kind of going through, and there's like a bunch of like different shaped objects that it's kind of like picking up and like looking at and like throwing in the air and like catching. It's like bouncing like a ball against the thing. It's just like playing, like it's this thing's just like playing
like
around.
A puppy.
Yeah, it's like a puppy. It kind of like takes it and kind of like chews on it a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, he just is doing his thing.
Branch, heedless of his own mortality here, is going to go walk up closer after having cast speak with animals and try again. Hello, Emerith. You are amazing. And I'm also going to try to pick up, if I can, one of the things on the ground and like wave it. Like one of the shapes.
As you come up to it, it's kind of playing around and it kind of looks at you. And then as you kind of are near it, it comes out and it puts its whole mouth around like your shoulder like that.
Oh.
And it pushes in a little bit and it kind of like hurts, but where you for a second think I'm gonna die, it like you don't die, and it's just like kind of pushing really hard with its teeth but not like hurting you, and like feel like kind of almost like tasting, kind of feeling you with his mouth, and then kind of like like spits you out, and then like trombles off to another part of the room and tries to kind of fly away again.
Yeah. Branch feels dejected, but he goes, okay, you know, sometimes they do not like it. It's fine. And I'm just going to pick up one of the things and like toss it in its direction. Not to like hit it, but like you would do with like a dog.
He goes over and he picks it up with his arm like that, and then kind of like throws it and like bats it up in the air with his wing, and like is kind of like rolling it with his wings, like on like back and forth on his wings, like it's just like playing around. Like clearly was not phased by anything.
See, they are so smart.
And it as it's like kind of doing all this stuff, it kind of does a little another one of the like little fire cough things, and it kind of like makes a bigger thing, and kind of gets something in the room kind of like sparks a little bit and starts to kind of catch fire really quickly, and starts to kind of go up, and some of the attendants like start to kind of come over a little bit, and then you guys all hear this and coming from around the corner down a part that you haven't seen before, you guys see this big head peer around, this emerald dragon head peer around, and where Emerith was like the size of like a hawk, this is about the size, this is kind of like a van size, maybe even like a little bigger, like van body size type of dragon, comes in and it looks around, and Everybody roll a charisma check.
Oh boy. Okay.
9 for Branch.
2.
8.
2.
3.
10. Oh, Cookie rolled a 1.
Oh no.
Natural 1. He's like, oh, look at that big thing right there.
So as soon as you guys, as soon as this thing puts its head around, unlike Emerith, which just like was not paying any attention to you, it slowly looks and it looks into each of you.
Ooh.
And as it does that, you feel this sense of overwhelming sublime. You feel this like presence of being in this, seeing this dragon as if it has peered into your soul and looked at every memory and every bit of your being and has evaluated it. And you feel this intense like recognition that you have been viewed by something that you can't understand. It's like if you were looking at the stars and the stars like looked back at you for a minute in the same way you looked at it.
Don't threaten me with a good time, Jeff.
And it continues to kind of stomp in, and it takes up the entirety of this room. And as it comes over to the dresser that's on fire, it takes its big claw hand and it puts it over it and just kind of smothers the flame out like that. And it looks down at Emerith and kind of it just kind of looks down at it with these like gentle eyes, and Emerith kind of like stops squirreling around and like goes like kind of starts to kind of hold its head down a little bit and behave like whatever like the puppy energy it had like it's gone. Oriana kind of leans over and says, "That's Kagar, the caring."
Is he like a older brother or something, or cousin? Oh, because he was born before.
Yes,
With the last comment.
yes, that was our 10th dragon.
Well, he seems pretty big to stick around. I mean, when do they usually leave the nest?
Well, we have expected that Kagar would be leaving sometime soon. He's been venturing out of the nest, has been venturing out and leaving for hours and hours at a time. And well, the dragon keepers estimate that maybe within the next couple of weeks, maybe in line with the comet arriving, that Kagar is preparing to leave, which is a real bummer because Kagar has been just so important to us in this time.
Sorry, is Kagar would, and he kind of looks at, is Morthos still around?
Morthos is he kind of came down into the caves with you, but he's not like in the room where you all kind of are. He maybe kind of stayed back and was talking with Clan Rock or somebody else.
All right, so
but
he's just gonna
Oriana
say,
has
yeah. Biscuit's just gonna be like, looks around. Oriana's like, would he be big enough to help us out, or maybe even like, could we use him to find the bigger one, the big one that we were?
She kind of smiles and she looks down and she says, "Boy, I'm glad Morthos isn't here. I think we can't use these dragons. They're not items. They're not weapons. They aren't something that we wield. We are the ones graced by their presence. We serve them. They don't serve us."
Well, right, but I'm just greater good, kind of thing. I'm just trying to think of like maybe if we asked them or that kind of thing, maybe they
Even
could.
a gardener must occasionally tend to its plants. you really ultimately have a bit of a symbiotic relationship if you're caring for their eggs. So I don't see why it's such a stretch to ask for a little bit of support.
Uh, she kind of chuckles again and says, "Well, feel free to ask him." And you guys look over, and again, you're seeing this like thing that is filling up this room, and as it's kind of moving around, it in fact kind of comes through, and everybody kind of clears a space as it kind of walks back to the emerald clutch, the 3 eggs in there, and it kind of walks around it and kind of looking at it, and takes a minute and then comes back through the room that you guys are in, and then leaves back out, and kind of through that, like nobody like interacted with it. Everybody just kind of got out of the way, and it just decided to leave. And Oriana says, if it is willed that they will help us, then it will be done.
Branch, right after the dragon leaves, goes, hi. Oh, man, too late.
Cold shoulder.
All right, so a little bit of a dead end there. What do you say we regroup? Maybe I'll see if I can have this drink or date or whatever it's called. And perhaps we take a moment to discuss amongst ourselves, though, before we rejoin the rest of the people here. I want to relay to all of them what I've observed about Morthos.
Okay. Oriana says, yes, of course. And she says, we could go upstairs now. We could be in the we can be in some of the chambers. And she takes you upstairs, and you kind of go to one of the buildings inside of the inner courtyard. You guys kind of head up to the quarters area, and where it was kind of boarded up before, she kind of pulls off some of the rocks that were piled up, some of the security that was kind of put up to just kind of block off so that nothing could get in or out. And she kind of opens it up, and there's kind of all of these bedrooms kind of in there, and she kind of dusts some things off, and she gets some other people to kind of bring you some water and some food and some things that they had. And she says, "Here, we're happy to host you here as allies and helpers today. Please make yourselves at home. I'm sure that you want to rest."
Thank you. Yes, just a moment to freshen up, and then we'll rejoin you momentarily.
Of course, whatever you need. We'll be out in the courtyard. And she kind of bows and heads off.
All right, let's collect our thoughts here. I want to share. I don't know if anybody else is caught on to this, but it's glaringly apparent to me that Morphos is definitely has a patron of some sort, and appears to be practicing the arcane arts of the warlock. Definitely observed that.
Right.
I don't know his patron, but I'm hoping that if we can take a moment and consume these libations that he has set forth, I can glean a little bit more information and see if perhaps his intentions might be skewed due to this.
That's a good plan. I also have something I could try if we feel up to it, if we want to pursue this, trying to use a dragon to find a dragon. I do have a spell that I might be able to sway its mind to do what I tell it to do.
The dragon?
Are we sure we want to risk
No, do
making
not do that.
an enemy of a dragon?
I mean, I could, but Branch, I don't want to offend you, or if we don't feel like that's the right course of action, we don't have to do that. But I mean, it's not going to hurt him. If he doesn't want to do it, he wouldn't do it. It would just be like, hey, I'm going to ask you to take us to another thing. And then if he doesn't know, then I could just release it. It just lasts for an hour.
Branch narrows his eyes at you and says,
we don't have to do that.
Would you do that to Branch?
No.
Matt, you disappeared for a second. or at
To
least
the
I couldn't see
dragon.
him.
No, I understand, but if you wanted something from Branch, would you do that to me? That seems very rude.
Well,
Well, yes.
see,
Wait,
no, I
have you
wouldn't.
done this to Branch before?
No, you're missing the point. See,
That's why I ate
so
that cake that one time.
Ugh. All right, look. So we can't talk to this thing, right? You've tried. We tried.
I mean,
but
I'm not
I have
sure
a way
about
that I
you.
can telepathically communicate with a monster by dominating it, and I can
Yeah.
telepathically give it commands to do what we want it to do. It's a thing that I can do.
Did you
I-
all feel it look
no.
into your very soul? Because I
yes.
did.
Yep.
Its mind seemed quite big. I'm not sure you'd want to mess with that, even if it was an enemy.
Yes. Also, it is not an enemy because it is a dragon, and dragons are very cool.
Right. I'm just saying it's a thing I can do, and I've never done it. And you know, as a spellcaster, I kind of want to do it. So I mean, like, I'm just saying that's a possibility. I could save it for later, but I'm just saying, you know,
I would save it for
why have
something.
why have a bag of flour if you're not going to make a, you know, if you're not going to make a cake?
Yeah, I think that would also be extremely offensive to every soul in roughly a 2-mile radius from here. So we should
Would it?
probably keep that in our back pocket.
All right.
Maybe
They seemed quite
take it out of pockets altogether.
They seem
Put
quite
it in a
committed
bag.
to the dragons having free will.
Okay. Y'all say
Now,
so.
the way you say that, I don't know if I can totally trust that you're not going to do it. I'm a little bit concerned. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. It's good to know, and I'm sure we'll find a good application for that spell at some point.
Yeah, I don't have to do that. I don't
Okay.
have to do it.
No,
I'm just saying I can.
Okay.
It's in my spell book.
Branch
Right.
can
I
turn
would-
into a big tiger and bite your face, but Branch is not going to do that.
I'm not saying
Let's
I'm going
not-
to hurt him.
Let's not devolve into being petty. Biscuit, I understand where your head's at, but I would say we save that little bag of tricks for something that we will feel a little less adverse if they ultimately hate us when we're done with it. Because in my experience, the loss of free will results in nothing but contempt.
I don't know.
Have you ever been forced to do something that you truly in your heart and soul did not want to do?
Well, no, but I mean, I've seen other people. Well, one time I did it to this fellow that we fought, remember, in the cave, and he was his name was what's his name? Jerko Dork Jarek. And I made him, I dominated him, and I told him to stop fighting, and because we did that, we all stopped fighting. So it actually was a good thing.
Oh, Branch knows Jerick.
Yeah, I told him what to do, and he did it, and he was real easy to dominate. By the way, he was like, woo, like clean as a whistle. Like, just I didn't have to scrape anything out of his brain or nothing. I was just like, hey, stop doing that, and he was like, okay, and
Jerick is no dragon.
no, he wasn't, but he was a mighty nice fellow, and he did help all of us stop fighting each other, and now we're all friends. So I'm saying maybe, you know, sometimes there's a good way to do it.
All right, well, let's table this for the moment. And you know, based on Diedre telling me to do this earlier, I snuck into the Queen's chambers.
So that's okay. So it's okay to invade people's privacy without permission, consent, but I can't tell a dragon to help us non-violently. Okay,
It is
you
morally
can ask. You
questionable.
cannot dominate.
It is morally questionable that I snuck into the Queen's chambers on Diedre's request, but I did not dominate her. So again, let's just hold back on that for now. She was in a deep, deep despair. I mean, I did not see anything to lead me to believe that what they're telling us about her is not true. I got no sense of of magic or infection or anything other than just absolute heartbreak. It was a mess in there.
So this queen is essentially emotionally fragmented.
I mean, yeah, as far as I saw in that moment, yes. I mean, if that's the case, she's been like that for a long time. I can't even imagine, but that's what I saw.
Does anyone have any chocolate? Could we send her some chocolate? Maybe a fuzzy blanket?
Yeah, why is Queen Lady sad?
Well, she lost her king.
I think she
And-
lost her everything, right? Like she lost her king, her kids, her army.
Wait, they had kids? I have a hard out for parents losing kiddos, and I will voice that right now. That is a hard out for Jen.
That didn't happen. They were
Yeah, don't make that up.
they were
please.
early in their family planning part of it, so definitely not a thing.
Okay.
What if they were adult children? Would that be okay?
I would struggle. I've had
Okay, then it's
too much
no
firsthand
kids,
experience with that.
no kids, no extended family.
Sorry.
Just top lieutenants.
All good. Hey, yeah, top lieutenants, like basically all their the whole court, right? So all of the top advisors, all of the like other higher lieutenants, all the generals, everybody that
randoms can die, but the minute it's a kid,
none of them were
that's
anyone's
my
children.
drawback.
So yeah,
I
it's all
understand,
good.
Jen.
All from the eggs.
I get yeah. Just we don't have to think about it too much. They're all gone.
Right. Well, I will say eventually we're going to either need to figure out how to make this ruler effective again, or perhaps find a way to relieve her of her duty and have somebody else step up, because these people need leadership, active leadership. And I understand that this woman needs space to grieve, but somebody has to manage these people. They're fighting amongst themselves.
Well, so as far as we know, they seem all on the level, and they seem to be telling us the truth. They got great reverence for dragons.
Is there a window in here? Sorry, that's me asking. Not.
There's windows.
All right. Biscuit is gonna kind of walk over to Cookie and just be like, "Nope, no, that's what I think." They're just gonna, he's kind of talking with each other, and then Cookie kind of looks at everybody like, "Okay," and he walks over to the window and jumps out.
Like
Whoa.
breaks through the glass.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, an open window. Like, can he open?
Yeah, he could. So he opens a window and jumps out.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like,
all right.
And he jumps out, and then you see him, and then a second later you see kind of a giant feathered eagle soar out and kind of go into the distance.
What was that?
He'll be back.
All right. Where'd he go?
Oh, I asked him to go do some reconnaissance to look in the to go out to where the bad stuff was, get a little closer, uses eagle eyes to see, and see if he could just see anything, maybe pick up where dragons were along the way.
Is okay. How long do you want him to go do that for?
Well, Biscuit cast polymorph on him.
To change him into an eagle, yeah.
Yeah, and then he can cast polymorph on himself as well if need be. So and it lasts for an hour. So technically, he would have 2 hours.
Okay.
To do it. I mean, technically,
okay.
You cast polymorph two times if you win. Technically, you have 3 hours. But however long you think an eagle, if you think an eagle could get kind of close, and then fly around in the next couple hours, and then fly back.
Okay. All right. Yenni finds a book, a short history and lore of Khall T'Vott, the document I shared with you guys.
I hate books.
I hate this. Throws it out and
Yeah.
this
No,
thing
wait!
sucks. It hits somebody else in the back of the head. Um, just to reiterate or for you guys to reference, including the handy chart of all of the dragons who have been born over the 135-year period. After a little bit, you guys talking, resting, relaxing, you get a little knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock.
A short rest, if you will.
Yes, a short rest. So you hear a little knock on the door. It's Clan Rock.
Oh, come in, Clan Rock.
He comes in and he says, we want to start rebuilding right away, and I've talked to everybody, and they're willing to follow your guidance. We have enough people that we could start on something for tomorrow, whatever you think would be appropriate to do. We can rebuild our blacksmith. We can rebuild our barracks. We can rebuild our college. We could build a new building, or we could build an observatory. We could build a laboratory. We could try and send people out to go and recruit more people from the neighboring villages. But we want to know what you guys want us to do.
So, question.
Yes.
Like, and this is like outside of the game.
Yes.
Logistically, if we're like, yeah, go build a college.
Yes.
They're like, bam, I got a college.
Ding.
So, kind of here's what I'm thinking. Each day,
I've got the video game version of this in my head, and then I've got what's
yeah.
actually.
So we'll kind of treat it like a video game version of it. So each day you'll get 5 build points, of which you can repair or build things. The dilapidated buildings will cost 1 thing to repair. Building a new thing is 2. Doing any of the recruiting or researching will take a point to do that. As you again, this is just kind of I'm freewheeling here, so I'm just going to kind of make it up as we go. But as you recruit more people, you'll get more build points each day that you can put people on task. You could start building on something and spend one of the points, and that it'll, because there's so many people that you have, we'll say that basically you can build it within a day, or at
So
least
they like
kind of
just
get
swarm
it.
in.
Exactly. And
Cool.
the people kind of left are like the builders, the fixers, the handymen, like all of the soldiers and
useful people.
scholars and wizards all kind of left.
Oh.
So it's really the blue collar people who are left.
Workers unite.
Workers
Rise
of
up.
the world, baby.
Well, I think if we rebuilt the blacksmith, that'd probably be handy from a helping standpoint, because then we could use their steel and reinforced beams and stuff like that.
Yes,
to help out.
and make more tools to help build other things. That seems very
Right.
smart.
If things went wrong, maybe it could speed up the building with better
Okay. Yes.
metallurgy and stuff like that. So my vote would be blacksmith.
Branch was thinking very similarly.
To
Great.
offer a counterpoint, this will not be the only improvement we'll be making here, correct? So if we're thinking long term, and we want to expand our ability over the next however long we're here to do as much as we possibly can, would not at this early date seeking to recruit extra hands to lighten the load of all future labor, wouldn't now be the time to do that?
Could we divide and conquer and send some people to go do recruity thingies, and some people can stay here and build a thing for more stuff?
Clan Rock says, yeah, absolutely. We could divide that. We could send some people to do these things. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We certainly would want to do that. Just as you guys are all talking. Oriana busts in and she's out of breath, and she kind of comes in and she sees you guys, and she sees Clan Rock, and she looks at all of you and she says, "Guys, it's moving."
What's moving?
Egg?
No, the
Oh,
storm.
Oh,
no.
that's no good.
I cast Dominate Person on Branch and tell him to go investigate.
Branch turns into eagle and flies away. Flap, flap, flap.